On this episode of MythBusters,
It is now or never.
Adam and Jamie add new life to a classic myth by turning it upside down
Windshield shattered from the impact.
as they test if there's even a chance to escape from a car that goes belly up underwater.
It's absolutely the scariest thing I've ever done on this show. 10 on the Brown Pants Index.
And an explosive movie myth sets the scene for chaos in the kitchen.
Holy moly!
As Tori, Grant, and Carrie try stopping a gun from igniting a room full of gas by, believe it or not, shooting through milk.
Well, you shot the milk.
That's for sure.
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage
It's a delicious memory.
and Jamie Heineman.
When in doubt, C4.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience. Joining them, Tori Belleci,
All in the name of science.
Grant Imahara,
Nothing just touched me.
and Carrie Byron.
This should be fun.
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
We got a problem.
What's that?
Well, you remember when we filmed the underwater car episode a few years ago?
The one where you nearly died inside the car?
Exactly. It turns out that we might not have gone far enough in our testing of that episode. We repeatedly had me escape from a car sinking like this, in this position, upright. When it turns out, we've heard from a lot of fans and professionals that most cars, when they go in the drink, actually don't sink like that. They actually do what's called turning turtle. They go all the way upside down and sink like that.
And so what's the difference?
Well, supposedly, it's far more disorienting and much more difficult to get out of an upside down car.
And so you figure that the techniques you used the last time to get out of the car wouldn't work so well.
Yeah, that's exactly what we've got to find out. Coming up to my ankles.
The first time we tried, the results were clear-cut. If the water's just up to your ankles, it's easy to exit the car. But when it passes your knees, the pressure disparity between inside and out means you'll have to wait till the car fills with water. Then open the door and swim to safety.
Woo!
But those tests were done right side up. And according to Operation STAR, that's Submerged Transport Accident Research, cars sinking in water deeper than 14 feet nearly always turn turtle.
So where do we start?
Well, it seems that there are two main problems with the upside down sinking car. The first is that when the car turns over, you get totally disoriented and don't know which way is up or down.
Okay.
The second is that it's much harder to wait for the car to fill up when your air pocket is where your feet are.
Let's start with disorientation. I have an idea.
Okay.
And here's Jamie's big idea. Adam gets strapped inside a massive gyroscope to see if turning topsy-turvy, even on dry land, upsets his sense of direction.
Watch your fingers.
For a minute or so, it's a hoot and a holler.
Hey, hey.
But even Adam has his limits.
I pretty much stopped having fun.
Before Adam loses his lunch, let's find out if he came close to losing his bearings.
Here's the thing. I never really lost track of where the force of gravity was coming from while riding this thing. And I wasn't inclined to close my eyes because, like you, I'm not interested in being covered with my own vomit. But this myth, luckily, isn't about detecting gravity in air, even in something as disorienting as this human gyroscope. It's about detecting it in water, and underwater, it's a whole different ballgame.
This device is really cool, but there are several reasons that it won't work for us underwater. And the first is that I need to be able to control the movement. As this is designed, Adam does it, and that just doesn't work for us. Secondly, I only want one axis of movement, up and down, and this has got, well, it's got like three.
Okay.
Thirdly, Adam needs to be able to get out of here in a hurry. So I'm going to take care of all of these things and build my own.
So this is Jamie's Wheel of Misfortune, a man-sized hamster tumbler that's purpose-built to not only disorient Adam, but to work underwater.
This is it. Adam will come and stand here like so, and I'll rotate him around and around, and when I stop, he can just freely come out like this and he'll swim off in whatever direction he thinks is up.
It's a straightforward plan that needs just one more thing, H2O, and plenty of it.
Okay, off to the pool.
They'll need at least 8 feet of water, and this dive school's got 10 in the deep end.
Let me explain how this thing's gonna break down. Jamie and I will walk the disorientation rig into the pool and set it on the bottom. Once it's in place, Jamie will position himself next to the rig in full scuba gear, and I will swim down to it. Put my feet on the paddles, put my hands in the handles, and put on a pair of blindfold goggles that completely negate my ability to see. When I'm ready, Jamie will begin spinning, spinning, spinning. I'll have no idea which direction I'll end up in, but when he stops, he'll tap the rig twice, and I will swim whichever direction I think is up.
And if your car crashes at night, hence the blindfold, that could be a whole lot harder than it sounds.
You know when you're hanging upside down on the monkey bars and the blood rushes to your head, you can feel that pressure? I didn't expect this, but I can feel that pressure underwater too.
After 30 seconds of blindfolded spinning, Jamie sets Adam adrift. And without hesitation, he heads straight for the surface. In the name of due diligence, they try it again. And again. With exactly the same result.
Ha! Found up again.
You're 3 for 3, huh?
I am. I think it's your turn to try this rig out.
I'm game.
All right, let's do it.
Adam's efforts are a kick in the teeth for the myth. So let's see if Jamie's internal compass survives the big spin. He'll also do it 3 times over.
We came here to find out if it was possible to lose your sense of direction underwater. And based on our testing, my feeling is that while there are a lot of cues to tell you which way is up, it's really quite easy to get distracted.
That last escape left Jamie geographically embarrassed. So the concept of losing your way upside down now looks like it might hold water.
So what do you think?
I think it's all about presence of mind, because on one of the tests, I was having problems with my sinuses and I got a little distracted. And for just a moment, when you stopped the rotation, I had no idea which way was up.
So you think given all the distractions of a car accident, your car going into the drink, that there really might be something to this?
Yeah, I mean, you're in shock, and given a lack of any prominent cues, I don't think you'd have any way to tell.
That puts confirming the myth right back in play. But it's also Adam's too easy exit that gives him pause for thought.
That tells me something significant. It says that in the interest of eliminating variables, we might have actually created too sterile a testing procedure. That tells me we need one that's less sterile. We need one that's dirtier. We need to do this in a real car.
Now to a myth that pits milk against methane, with a gun in between.
All right, we got an explosive myth this time.
Great.
This one comes from the movie Kiss the Girls. Cop faces off with the bad guy in a kitchen full of gas from the stove. And the cop wants to shoot the bad guy, but the bad guy reminds him, if you shoot me, the muzzle flash from your gun will ignite the gas, blowing up the kitchen and killing them both.
The bad guy's already snapped the gas line, and he's holding a cigarette lighter. The cop needs to shoot him, but he thinks that the flash from the gun might also ignite the methane. So he shoots, with success, through the milk. But can shooting through liquid really stop the muzzle flash from igniting the gas?
All right, so what's the plan?
May I suggest we simply go for it? I mean, build a kitchen, fill it full of gas, shoot the gun from the movie, once into milk and once not.
That's great, and then we'll see if it does, in fact, ignite the gas and blow up the kitchen.
So to test the myth that a milk carton will prevent a gun's muzzle flash from igniting a room full of methane, we need to blow up a kitchen. But since none of us are willing to volunteer our own personal kitchens, we need to build one.
Now, we're gonna be filling this kitchen up with methane gas. We don't really know how big of an explosion we're gonna get when we ignite the gas. So we're building the kitchen out of plywood and 2x4s. That way we don't have any metal shrapnel. But most importantly, one of the walls is going to be made out of a breakaway plexiglass. So that way we can see what's going on inside the kitchen, and when the gases are ignited, that wall will pop off, releasing that pressure wave so we don't get a huge explosion.
But even a mid-range explosion might just smash the windows and singe the neighbors. So the kit kitchen is flat-packed and delivered, some assembly required, to the local bomb range.
Sometimes the best order procedure is to just go for it. I mean, find out if we have any merit to the myth at all. Just straight out to the bomb range, recreate the circumstances, and blow the thing up.
Custom-made cabinets. Time to hang them.
To properly restage this movie myth, they'll need more than 4 walls and a roof.
This is a gorgeous stove-sink combo you've picked out.
We'll be cooking with gas in no time.
With lines like that, you'll need some top-notch actors. And here's our leading man.
Come on, it's time to go to work.
It's hard to believe, but this sack of bones is our Morgan Freeman.
I know, I feel this way every morning too.
As for Buster, well, he's been typecast again.
Okay, handcuffs, just like the guy in the movie. See that? Looked like I knew what I was doing.
Now they're ready to dial up the danger with things that go bang. The gun and the gas.
All right, get ready for a big boom.
Carrie, Grant, and Tori are preparing to see if shooting through milk can really stop a gun from igniting a room full of methane.
Now, in the movie, the gas line attached to the stove breaks, so we know it's natural gas. Now, natural gas is about 85% methane gas, which is very flammable.
But there's a twist. It's only flammable in certain concentrations. Too little methane means not enough fuel for the fire. But add too much methane, and there's not enough oxygen molecules to sustain combustion. The numerical balance of different substances to cause a reaction is called stoichiometry. And Grant's done his homework.
So we know that the perfect stoichiometric ratio of methane in air is 5 to 15%. So we're gonna go right in the middle, say 10%. With this volume, which is about 500 cubic feet, we're shooting for 50 cubic feet of methane.
With the guys and the gun from the movie and the carton of milk set in place, we're ready to see if this myth is just Hollywood hokum.
We're going to fire the gun through the milk and see what happens. Now, if it works out like the hero thinks and nothing happens, then we're going to try it again, but this time without the milk. And then we'll see if the room goes up like whoosh.
To get the right balance of methane to air, they turn on the gas for just 90 seconds.
All right, filling up the kitchen with methane gas. 1.5 minutes.
So here's how it stands. If the kitchen explodes, it's an instant and absolute myth busted.
All right, this is methane gas with gun and milk.
In 3, 2, 1.
Well, you shot the milk.
That's for sure.
No explosion. Maybe this myth is true.
So with milk, there was no gas room boom, which is good news for the myth. But what if the mixture of methane and air was wrong and the room is basically incombustible? Well, it's easy to test because Grant had the foresight to add a road flare hooked up to an electric match.
Here we go with the flare. 3, 2, 1. Hey, we got something.
We got ignition.
The flare not only proves a point, it clears the air of the flammable gas.
So far, it looks like our villain was wrong, and our hero actually stopped this ignition with the milk. And we definitely had the right ratio from the looks of the villain because his hair is a little bit fried.
So Morgan's logic looks good. With the gun and the milk, there was no explosion. But would the gun alone have sparked a blast anyway? It's time to reload.
All right, so kitchen is filling. As soon as we hit 1 minute and 30 seconds, fire the gun.
You think the milk stopped the muzzle flash? You think it's gonna explode?
I don't know, but we're about to find out.
We sure are. In around about 3, 2.
1.
With the muzzle flash unmuffled by milk, nothing happened.
Okay.
All right, no explosion.
Yep.
If the scene in the movie was based on hard science, that single shot should have triggered a massive explosion. Now, to fire the flare to confirm that the gas mix was right.
So we were at the right ratio. Yet the bullet did not ignite the methane gas.
Which means the milk did not stop the muzzle flash from lighting the methane gas.
The boom was a beauty, but this bad hair day is all due to collateral damage.
The bad news for this myth is that this did not happen because of muzzle flash from a gun. This happened because of a flare. So what we need to do now is figure out what exactly is going on with this myth and what can possibly cause a room full of methane to go up.
That pool test was actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was. There was just a brief moment when I was distracted by my sinuses, and I honestly didn't know which way was up.
So you think there might actually be something to this story?
Yeah.
Then I don't think there's anything to do now but go full scale.
Adam and Jamie have figured the only fair way to test their myth is to put Adam inside a real car and drop man and machine in a real lake.
Well, I am standing on the edge of Pit 232, a former quarry lake in sunny Ione, California, which may look familiar to the careful viewer because we shot a couple stories here before. Right out there in the middle, we did this. And then right over there is the ramp where we did this. Now, we are about to do this. All right, I only have a couple more breaths here. Except this time, we are adding an extra wrinkle of jeopardy just to make sure we've covered all our bases. It's time to sink an upside-down car with me in it.
Let's face it, a car like this could only benefit from being dropped in a lake. Time will tell if the same holds true for Adam.
That's perfect. We can lower it down.
In the interests of relative safety and good science, they won't launch the car, Dukes of Hazzard style, off a ramp and into the drink. Instead, to guarantee that the car turns turtle, they'll use a barge, a tow truck, 6 empty barrels, and more rope than a rodeo. Here's the plan in a nutshell.
Okay, so we're gonna tie a rope to the back bumper of our test car on a barge in the middle of the lake. The other end of that rope goes to a pickup truck on the shore, which, at the correct signal, will drive forward, pulling our test car off the barge. Now our test car, being a normal car with an engine, is front heavy, and its front will hit the water and start sinking. What we're hoping is the forward momentum of the pickup truck pulling our test car from the rear end will actually pull it all the way over until it's upside down. Just to make sure the car doesn't plunge to the very bottom of the lake, we've got 6 55-gallon drums making sure that it's secure at a relatively safe depth of 15 feet.
It's as risky a stunt as they've ever attempted, so Jamie's understandably fussing the detail.
Given that this is a one-shot deal, we're going to weld guide rails onto this barge so we know for sure that the car enters the water the way it's supposed to. Remember, Adam's inside this thing, and so if it goes off the barge cockeyed or anything goes wrong, it might not be pretty.
Equally ugly is the prospect of sinking all the way to the bottom. They've welded and strapped tight 2 clusters of 3 empty barrels to halt the descent at 15 feet under, just over the depth where the star report says most cars turn turtle. Will it work? Let's ask a buoyancy boffin.
Well, our car weighs about 2,600 pounds, and half of it is tied to the barge I'm standing on, so I only need to support 1,300 pounds of the car with these barrels. Each one of them displaces 440 pounds of water, because a pint's a pound the world around. All told, that gives me 2,500 pounds of buoyancy
For 1,300 pounds of car, that's well within my safety margin. That's enough flotation.
Just like last time, they've removed the engine so oils and sundry fluids don't sully the water. Making up for the lost mass are 12 barbell weights, assuming they ever get there.
Hey, Jamie. Yeah? I need your help. It's too heavy.
I have it on good authority that it's not that bad. Go for it.
But the weight in the barrow is much the same as a whole car engine, so Adam wisely resorts to hand delivery.
Last two.
Thank you, Adam.
That's the last of the heavy lifting, and it's time for the SS Poseidon to push off.
Bet if you could see into Jamie's brain right now, he's reminiscing about being a barge driver on the Erie Canal, back when it first opened.
The barge drifts into place at a spot where the water is 50 feet deep. Adam's next job is to secure those flotation barrels to the car.
Now it's time to attach the lifeline, my safety system. The 4 ropes that will suspend this car upside down exactly 15 feet below the surface of the water. There's a lot of moving parts to this one.
So let's hope this isn't a bad omen. They've loaded the barrels in front of the car instead of behind it.
Gotta figure out how to get the barrels to the back of this barge, and it's too heavy for me to carry, so I got a solution. I'll take him for a walk.
It's the kind of can-do attitude that got Adam the job in the first place. We also admired his capacity to take everything personally.
Ha! In your face, barrels.
But the whole crew knows that just one mistake could be fatal. According to Adam, the best way to diffuse any danger is to anticipate the worst-case scenario.
We've isolated that the worst-case scenario for this experiment is that the car somehow detaches from all 4 of its mooring points, sinks to the bottom upside down so deep in the silty mud that neither my safety diver nor I can open the doors. If that happens, we will have to sit down there long enough for safety divers with salvage bags to lift the car enough to open the door and free us. Between you and me, even though we've accommodated for that, I hope it doesn't happen.
Now, just to recap, we filled a kitchen with methane gas, fired a gun into milk, it did not ignite the gas. We removed the milk, fired again, it still did not ignite the gas. So, we need to move on to small scale and find out if it's even possible to ignite methane gas using the muzzle flash from a gun.
Before the milk part of this myth can be restaged, they need to show that a flash from the handgun used in the movie could blow up a room in the first place.
Okay, that's a hole.
It failed on the bomb range, but this test, in a bulletproof box, filmed in super slow motion, should at least shed some light on the subject.
All right, here's what's going on with the muzzle flash and why it might actually ignite a room full of gas. Now, when a gun is fired, only about 30% of the chemical energy from the propellant is converted to the kinetic energy that is the projectile moving down the barrel. The rest is contained in the propellant, gas, particle mixture that escapes from the muzzle of the gun. A significant portion of that is dissipated into that bright muzzle flash that you see.
All right, so for this size kitchen, I'm only gonna fill it up for 2 seconds. Filling up kitchen with methane. All right, that should be good.
Carrie counts down
Shooting the gun in 3, 2, 1.
to another big fat failure. It takes a keen eye to even spot the muzzle flash.
All right, so the gun fires, and if you look here, there is 1 frame of muzzle flash.
Yeah, that's only a quarter of a millisecond.
And that's not nearly enough ignition energy to spark a kitchen inferno. Maybe it's time to upgrade the sidearm.
I want to know if a gun can ignite the gas. Do you think another gun could do this?
Maybe a hotter load.
Yeah, hotter load, bigger muzzle flash, sure.
That might work.
Let's try it.
A hot load means more powder in the cartridge, but there's also a very good reason to switch guns.
We're having no luck igniting our gas with the gun that the hero carried around in the movie. But there's a little Hollywood mistake here. Though the hero was carrying a Sig Sauer throughout the entire movie, the villain said he was holding a Glock. So that's what we're testing next. And just for good measure, we're using a hotter load.
The hot load is called a +P. So let's see if a new round and the right gun can get the job done.
Okay, loaded. All right, we're hot. All right. You guys ready? Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Again, no explosion. So Carrie burns off the gas with an electric match. Now it's back to the high speed to check what was way too quick for the naked eye.
Wow, look at how much bigger the muzzle flash is.
Yeah, but we still didn't get ignition.
So it's not looking so good for the movie myth. But I really do want to see a gun light the gas.
I think we're gonna need a bigger gun.
And possibly an even hotter load.
And this being MythBusters, we do have some options.
We're going big. Really big. 44 Magnum big. As we found in Adam and Jamie's Myth Handgun Horror, the flash comes not only out of the muzzle, but here, where the cylinder is. When you need significant muzzle flash, this is what you call on.
It stands to reason that this round in this gun should spark the biggest flash so far. And right now, it's all about igniting the gas.
Now, shooting one of those guns is like shooting a mini cannon. There is so much power there, so that means there's a lot more powder, which could potentially give us a bigger flame lasting longer. All right, guns loaded and cocked.
Of course, if this fails, well, it might be time to have a stern word with the screenwriter.
Okay, ready.
Shooting in 3, 2, 1. Dang!
No ignition. Man, that was a big muzzle flash.
All right, let's go check out the high speed.
Yeah.
Good thinking. There's nothing like watching your failures in super slow motion.
Even with the larger load, which has more powder, we're still not able to ignite the methane.
So I think we've moved past the movie myth at this point. I think we need the essence of this myth, which is that a gun can light a room full of gas and that milk can stop it. So where do we go?
The myth is busted. Not even the .44 Magnum could spark the methane. But the team still has high hopes of a gunshot exploding a room full of gas. If they manage to do that, they're right back on track to see if a carton of ordinary milk can prevent a catastrophe. Back on the barge, Adam's immersed in a tangle of sheep shanks and bowlines. If it looks like a lonely pursuit, you're right. But he's not doing this just to calm his nerves. Well, not exactly.
Why am I doing all this by myself? Well, to me, it's axiomatic. If your life depends upon the rigging, do your rigging. While I'm sitting there waiting for this car to drop over the edge, I'm gonna be going through the rigging in my mind about 100 times. And I'm gonna wanna be able to picture the whole thing in my brain, so I might as well do it myself. That knot right there is gonna pull this car to its final resting place. But hopefully not me.
The other end of that big yellow rope is tied onto the back of the tow truck. A 3-second tug should be all that's required. And this end is Jamie's department.
Once the car leaves the end of the barge, the front of the car is going to drop quickly because that's where the engine is and it's heavy. Once that end of the car hits the water, it's going to slow down because of the water's resistance, but the back of the car is going to continue going forward because the tow truck's still pulling it. And that's how we're going to flip the car. So now the car is upside down in the water and it's going to drift down to about 15 feet, where it'll be stopped by some ropes that are tied onto this barge and some barrels. Why 15 feet? Well, the bottom of the lake is really silty, and if the car goes all the way to the bottom, it's going to kick up that silt, and we won't be able to see what's going on, which is what this story is all about. Anyway, it's a safety problem, which of course we can't have, so we're going to do it at 15 feet.
And there's so much more for Adam to worry about.
And one of the key things I had a problem with in this setup was I'm pulling the car from its rear end, but the ropes that attach it to the front of the barge, half of my support are in its front.
I don't want the car to roll over its own support lines. I don't want it to bottom out here and shear through them. I've got to get them out of the way while the car is driving down, and this is how I do it. A barbell weight on a pulley. See, I drop this over the side like that, and it sinks. As the car rolls forward, the weight pulls this rope down, effectively pulling it out of the way, keeping the car from running over it, and keeping me safe and in the position I want to be underwater.
Whatever his position after the no airbag impact, Adam knows it will be a rough landing.
And the thing I'm most afraid about is actually striking my head on some part of the car and getting cut. That's actually something I've been thinking a lot about over the last couple of days, and I'm going to be working very hard towards keeping my body rigid so that I don't end up sloshing all over the place as the car does the full 180.
Jamie's fears follow roughly the same lines, but they're a bit more dire.
Worst case scenario here is that both Adam and our safety diver get knocked out cold from all of this violence and this impact. I don't think that's going to happen, but that'd be a bad thing if it does.
But enough of the doom and gloom. The whole point of this test is to save lives if and when the unthinkable happens to you.
You've already done a full episode on a car going into the water. Here we go. Moreover, an episode that is one of, I think, our proudest moments, given that 4 separate fans have written to us and said that watching that episode gave them critical information that allowed them to escape when their car went underwater. Well, it's because of Turning Turtle. It's because fans wrote to us and said that most cars going in the water turn completely over. And even though we've sunk a car in the water a dozen times, we wanted to know what happens when that car goes completely upside down. Do you become so disoriented that it becomes much harder to escape? And how then do you escape? That's what we're going to answer with this setup.
If the myth is correct and escape is impossible, emergency air supplies are fitted fore and aft.
That's good.
All right, I'm going to turn this off for right now.
Yeah.
Remember to turn it on.
I will.
Okay.
I think we're pretty much ready to go.
I don't think that's going anywhere.
I don't think so.
Except into the water with you. I think we've got every last little thing buttoned down. Are you ready to go swimming?
Yeah, I can't think of any reason why we can't just go for it. Will you hand this to me when I come up?
You got it.
See you on the surface. Right, it is now or never.
Sliding into the backseat is Diver Don. If things really go badly, he's there to save Adam's life. This is meant to be much harder than when he was right side up. And once again, he'll wrench on the doors, maybe kick at the windows, and try to stay calm.
So what are the various outcomes likely to mean in this test? Well, if I get to the surface by either breaking the window or resorting to breathable air, then I would say the fans are totally right. However, if I'm able to maintain my cool and actually get to the surface without breaking a window, without resorting to air, just by holding my breath and staying calm, then I would say that the fans are wrong, and in either case, we have illuminated a whole new feature of cars going into water.
3, 2.
In the myth of the gas room boom, pure methane has proved, well, let's say uncooperative.
Okay, methane's not exploding, but that's a good thing because it's in people's houses. I don't think this myth is actually going to get anywhere unless we move on to a more explosive gas.
What about hydrogen? It's got a lower ignition energy than methane, 1/15, and its flammability range in air is 5 to 75%.
Room full of gas, all that.
Remember, the myth that they're trying to test is if milk can suppress a muzzle flash and prevent an explosion of volatile gas. But with methane, the gas used in the movie, they got nowhere fast. So now, they've changed up to hydrogen.
Now in these next tests, we're gonna use the same guns, the 9mm Glock and the 9mm Sig Sauer, plus the .44 Magnum. The only thing that's gonna change this time is the gas. We're using hydrogen. It's more flammable, so hopefully one of these will get that gas to ignite.
Starting off with a Sig Sauer, they're trying to find the perfect gun and round combination.
All right, we're locked and loaded.
To ignite the gas without milk, and then add the milk to see if it stops the explosion.
All right, filling the tank.
You fire, and then I'm gonna flame if it doesn't ignite.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Oh my gosh. It just ignited the gas.
I don't know. I saw some sparks, but it's hard to tell.
I can't tell. I think we need to check the high speed.
Always a good plan, as Tori's wishful thinking comes to nothing. The gun went off, the gas didn't.
Even with the more flammable gas, it still was not enough to be ignited by the muzzle flash.
Hey, we're just starting. We got another gun.
All right.
So next up is the gun they said they used in the movie, but actually didn't. The Glock 17.
All right, so we are about to fire a high-velocity round out of a Glock into the hydrogen. Now, we saw when we fired it into the methane that the higher velocity round had a bigger muzzle flash, but I still don't think it's gonna be enough to ignite that hydrogen gas.
If Tori's right, this myth might soon die with a whimper, not a bang. Grant agrees, and he's worked up a theory.
What I think is happening is there's a pressure wave that's pushing all the gas out of the way, and the part that might ignite it is never meeting the gas. So, you know what? I think this is never gonna happen.
But you know what they say about famous last words.
Budge. I think that ignited the gas.
Wow.
Holy moly.
Didn't see that one coming. Oh my gosh, this myth
Okay.
is looking very plausible.
I guess I was wrong.
There's no doubt that was a blast and a half. The tank is in pieces, and so is the high-speed camera.
There is a lot of energy right there.
But did you see? That is incredible. The gas was ignited from the muzzle flash.
That's the gun that the villain said he used in the movie.
That's right.
We
All
just
right.
blew apart this box, which was made out of bulletproof glass.
I was starting to think that it was busted, but now I'm sort of changing my tune.
Well, that
This
is if you're cooking with hydrogen.
All I know is when Carrie pulled the trigger, the blast was so large that I was stunned. I didn't know what to say. I was just sort of sitting there blinking like, ugh.
So they finally nailed the right bullet, the gun, and the gas. But it still bodes no good for that key scene from Kiss the Girls.
Well, it's busted as far as the movie goes because nobody's cooking with hydrogen. But the question is, if the essence of this myth is gun igniting gas, can milk stop that?
Maybe we should clean up, reset, and try some milk.
We definitely have to take this full scale.
But filling a full-sized room would take 75 times more hydrogen than they used in the small tank. And that's way too dangerous, even for us. So the boys have gone mid-scale. Not too big, not too small, and not too shabby.
Check it out, Carrie.
We made you a dollhouse.
Oh my gosh.
That we're gonna fill up with hydrogen and blow up.
Oh my gosh, I want to keep this. That's adorable.
She can, but it won't be in mint condition. This is way more volatile than the methane. The H in H-bomb stands for hydrogen.
The next step is to stick our Glock inside of our small-scale kitchen. Then we're going to fill it with the right explosive ratio of hydrogen, put milk in front of the muzzle, and fire. Now, if the milk actually does stop the muzzle flash from igniting the little kitchen, we have a backup Glock because we know it can actually do it with muzzle flash. That's a lot more exciting than a candle.
In effect, the second Glock now takes the place of the road flare. They raise both guns towards the roof, just in case the ultralight hydrogen settles at the top. While Carrie rolls out the remote trigger cords, Tori and Grant install the see-through roof and the front wall. And after ensuring a nice tight seal,
Filling the kitchen now, here we go.
Tori counts up to 60, which should fill the room with 6 cubic feet of gas, enough to blow it to pieces. That's assuming the milk muffler doesn't work.
This one's for all the marbles.
All right, kitchen's filled with hydrogen for a minute. We're ready to go.
In 3, 2, 1.
There's no need to shoot twice. Even with milk at the end of the barrel, the flash from the gun made the room go boom.
Busted!
Busted!
So Uh-oh, looks like the milk is not enough to stop the muzzle flash from igniting the hydrogen.
They've not only busted the myth from the movie, but also smashed the idea of milk stopping a blast in a room that's been properly primed.
I was certain that this was not going to cause the gas to go off, but I was wrong.
Oh, we blew this kitchen apart.
Yeah, there's shrapnel 25 feet back.
Yeah, there is milk everywhere. Clearly, milk is not going to be the thing that stops the explosion.
Well, it sure doesn't work with hydrogen. As for the methane, it never exploded at all. So Morgan had no cause to fret in the first place.
Sure, he had the right idea if they were cooking with hydrogen gas. I mean, we had to go to a gas with such a low ignition energy that it's ridiculous. We're busted on so many levels.
In the meantime, remember, it's very uncool to mess with methane or to waste milk. Adam and Jamie are finally ready to turn one of their classic experiments upside down.
My goal here is to go underwater, turn turtle, and get back to the surface without either breaking the window or resorting to breathable air. Staying calm, maintaining my cool, rescuing myself.
Previous tests show that Adam will have to wait till the car fills with water. When the pressure inside equalizes with the outside, he should be able to open the door.
I survived! Woo!
But can he stay calm enough, long enough, to make his escape when the car's belly up?
Mike, go ahead and start your engine.
We're about to find out.
In 3, 2, 1, go!
The plan works to perfection as the car pitches nose first and then settles roof side down. Adam's initial fears are unfounded. Both he and Don are so far uninjured.
Oh, all right, the car's filling up. Whoa, it's definitely totally upside down. All our safety procedures are working great. It's slowly filling up. I'm definitely not going to try for the driver's side door. I'm going to try for the passenger door. I can't open the passenger door. Of course I can't, because we're still sinking. The pressure differential. Woo, that was totally intense. The windshield shattered from the impact. We're still about 30 seconds from having turned over. My safety driver, Don, you're okay? Excellent.
Inside the car, the pressure, in every sense, is rapidly rising. But back on the surface, Jamie's almost buoyant.
Well, I can hear Adam making all sorts of noise inside there. I don't know what he's saying, but he appears to still be awake and intact.
It's true. Right now, Adam's unhurt, unfazed, and surprisingly chatty.
Waiting for the car to fill up so that I can open this door and escape. Right now, I can actually see out the back window. I can see daylight, which is really pretty tantalizing, honestly.
It's crucial that Adam stays calm, especially as a massive curveball is coming his way. The upside-down car suddenly twists right side up.
Oh, the car's turned over again. All right, and it might turn over again once we get down because of the lines we've got on it. I'm gonna try and open it with all my might. Ah! No. Okay. Stay calm. Wow, the windshield is totally spraying water out at me. Woo! Dude, I did not expect this.
With each passing second, the car fills with water, but Adam does at least manage to stay with the last pocket of air.
Let me see if I can open this door. No. I have no access to any doors in this. I have to wait until this car settles down. It is taking a long time to sink.
To Adam, it's taking forever, but in fact, it's only 60 seconds since the car hit the water. But things are about to accelerate.
Okay, there's a lot to get caught up in this car, and my visibility's about to disappear. Here we go.
I can hear the last bit of air hissing out the back of the car. So these guys are pretty close to being totally in the water, and the car's going to be going down.
And sure enough, just seconds later,
That it's going down. Here we go. Oh boy.
oh boy is right, as the car suddenly drops like a stone. It flips yet again, so it's back upside down. Remember that Adam's not wearing a dive mask, so his vision is even more blurred than this. What's more, there's no air pockets left. After a worrying period of silence, Adam finally breaks free. He figures out which way is up and swims to safety. But did he really survive? Or did he resort to a blast of emergency air?
Oh,
You all right?
oh, I'm okay. It's pretty definitive that I died right there.
That means you had to partake of the onboard air supply.
I absolutely had to partake of the onboard air supply. And I breathed in a little water on the way. With the car turning and being really unpredictable at its turning, which I think was actually quite accurate to a real-world scenario. Oh, the car's turned over again. All right. My air pocket was changing constantly. And when it finally started to lurch and go under at the end, it went really, really, really fast. I had about 10, 15 seconds of warning, trying to take a really deep breath, and then I tried opening the door, and at that point, I was completely out of air. It was just too stressful. You're in this super confined space. You cannot see anything. You lose all your bearings. I mean, I couldn't find the handles on the doors without a mask.
His only choice was to take the air offered by diver Don. And Don had his own problems.
My safety diver was actually pinned in his seatbelt and had to use a knife to actually cut himself free. The whole time I was underwater breathing air, I couldn't tell you what part of the car I was in or what direction was up or down. The disorientation was complete.
They both lived to tell the tale, but Adam only got out with the help of canned air. So the myth that it's next to impossible to escape when the car turns turtle is confirmed.
Oh, I was never so grateful to break the surface. And while I'm really glad I did that, I have no desire to ever do that again. It was absolutely the scariest thing I've ever done on this show. Full stop, bar none, 10 on the Brown Pants Index.
The essence of Adam's approach to survival was exactly the same as the first time around. Stay as calm as you can for as long as you can. Staying put till the car fills with water is still the best tactic. But the fans were dead right. Getting out is a whole lot harder when you're upside down.
The difference between this test and the first time we did this with an upright car is literally night and day.
So the take-home message is?
I don't know about you, but I am keeping a commercial window breaker in my glove compartment from now on.
Unless you live in the desert.
Exactly.
And remember that technically, Adam would have drowned in that car. So if he's recommending a window breaker, all I can say is the man knows his business.